they can keep it going. Halftime score, Buffalo 10 and Pittsburgh nothing. We'll be back after this.
Pittsburgh, without this interception and a later one, Pittsburgh would be in bigger trouble. Joe Ferguson, 22-yard pass to Jerry Butler. Set up their first touchdown. It is 10-0. Here's the second interception. Without the two interceptions, Pittsburgh might be trailing 24-0. Instead, it's 10-0 halftime. Buffalo threatening to go 4-2. Pittsburgh would drop to the same record. In St. Louis, Washington has two.
And right now, the wind is kicking up, and I don't know if you've ever been colder, John, but it's got to be as close to the all-time as we've come.
I've had a few ties, Don, but I have not been colder. This is, yes, it is. Kenny Edmondson, it's cold out here. We'll stay as long as you like. Those fellas have to stay another 30 minutes. I think I've never seen a team dominated the way I have seen Pittsburgh dominated on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And it just shows you when you're winning in the line what your stars can do. Bradshaw's had the worst day I've ever seen. And on the other side of the coin, I think Ferguson's played very well.
John, now you've played in a lot of days like this in your career, and Bradshaw is really in a hole. He's been unable to get on track. Do you think he could ever generate anything in the second half, or is it going to be this way the whole day?
The most unpredictable quarterback I've ever seen in my life, and I'd say yes, if anybody can, Terry can. I don't think any other human could, but he might come from disaster to the penthouse.
Well, we'll be ready for the second half in a moment. In this game, John.
Yes, and unless they find a way at halftime to penetrate defensive secondarily, what they've got going in Buffalo, this will be the last time they'll kick off, because I think the 5 people that play defense for Buffalo in the secondary have just totally outplayed the offense for Pittsburgh. See how old Moe's changed at halftime, too.
You know, temperature was 20 degrees, but there's a real strong wind. I want to tell you, the chill factor, it's got to be 20 below out there.
Well, the guy that took that reading wasn't out in it. I'll tell you that.
Now, that was a guess.
A big game for both teams, and now here's the kickoff, and Mosley, sprinter, takes the ball back across the 10 to the 20 and out to the 23-yard line. Mike Mosley might be the fastest Buffalo Bill. First-year player out of Texas A&M, where he was a wishbone quarterback, drafted in the second round because of his overall athletic ability.
And I think Mosley, who isn't a natural athlete, is one of the few long striders that I've ever seen returning punts and kickoffs. Usually the long striders are wide receivers, an occasional halfback, and quarterbacks. I don't know how long he'll be returning kickoffs and punts, but I haven't seen many long striders do it for a very long time.
He's a sprinter. It might be the fastest player in the Buffalo team. Ran a legitimate 4.340. Call him White Lightning. 1st and 10. Joey Krebs runs the ball for Buffalo, and very well. Look at that play by Krebs. He's got a man to beat, and that man, Dwayne Woodruff, finally pushes him out of bounds.
Yes, sir. You can always tell which team's the home team because the stage manager starts jumping up and down when your home team gets out in an open field. That was good for about 25 of the finest, but here's a play where you've got your offensive line in front of you. John Borchardt, look at him leading Krebs, number 73. He has a little trouble finding somebody to block. Everybody'd fallen down. 17 carries for Krebs for 89 yards. That's not a bad day. First play of the second half.
Big gainer, 33-yard gainer, down to the 42-yard line of the Steelers as Pittsburgh digs in. Now Gary Dunn down over the nose of the ball at the middle guard position. John Goodman at left end, Tom Beasley at right end. They go back to the run. Roosevelt leaks, takes the ball and powers it right at the Steelers and down to the 38-yard line. Lauren Taves was on the stop. And here's a penalty marker after the play. Lambert might have done that intentionally to fire up those
Just
Steelers.
trying to get something going. He knows they're dead. They've been run over both offensively and defensively. If there's one guy that always gets something stimulated when the pot gets a little bit cool, it's Lambert.
Jack Lambert. Let's see what the call is.
Personal foul. Offense, personal foul on the offense and defense. Offense penalty.
That one must have been for insulting the referee because, you see, he didn't do much here. He kind of gets up.
That'll happen on occasion. The referee will get insulted.
Yeah, I think that's what did happen. I don't think Will Grant got hurt.
They'll do the down over again. 2nd down and 5.
setting penalties. Joe Krebs gets a load of Robin Cole and some Lauren Taves also, and there's no gain on the play, maybe a yard. So now third down arises for Buffalo, and specialists are sent into the game. Lou Picone comes in, so does Mike Mosley.
Looks like they'll play the 4 wide receiver offense. It's a double wing formation, trying to get somebody one-on-one. Generally one of the inside slot backs. They'll try to get one-on-one, hit him to the outside break, see if it happens.
Third down and 3 for Buffalo. Ferguson takes a look, lets her go. Jerry Butler going for the ball, but it's overthrown, and fourth down comes up.
That was one of those plays that if they'd had all year to be working on, Butler would have seen there was no one in the deep outside secondary, and Ferguson can see it easy from where he's sitting, but it's a diagram to go to the outside. Now Ferguson holds up to see if Butler sees the opening all the way down the field. He doesn't see it till it's a little too late. Ferguson's already thrown it down there. It's a miscoordination, and they blew a touchdown. I haven't seen Pittsburgh make as many mental errors as I have seen them make today.
I talked to Dan Rooney briefly at halftime, the president of the Steelers. He said some of our guys are just flat getting run over. We're playing poorly, he said. Taylor in to punt the ball for the first time for Buffalo. It's a high arcing punt angling for the sideline, and it's caught by Mike Mosley at the 3-yard line. It's a good way to down it.
I think that's Jeff Nixon, wasn't it? Or was it?
Jeff Nixon gets the call. Yeah,
the reason
Nixon.
I was saying that is because we haven't seen much of him all day, and he set the league on fire a couple years ago before Bill Simpson took over, so they've got depth.
We are
First offensive day of the season. Ready to go now. Put in a hole by the punt by Cater. Bradshaw looking to air it out on first down, but he comes in short of Jan Stallworth turning out. Today's game is brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. By the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by Polaroid. The fun starts when you share Polaroid Instant Pictures. Don Criqui with John Brody, Rich Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. Second down and 10 coming up for the Steelers. Franco is hit hard by Ben Williams, the left end. Franco Harris goes down at the 5-yard line. These Bills came out smoking on a cold day, and they haven't let up.
You can see Terry kind of looking into his file, saying, I wonder if I do have a play when it's 10-0. We've got no yards to show for the day's work. I'm 2 for 9. I've completed 3 yards worth of passes, 1 interception. What is the play that gets me out of this jam? If he's got one, we'll see it right now.
A lot on the line. The Steelers at the outset of the day were talking about possibly having a home field through the playoffs, but still a long way to be decided. Pittsburgh right now in a hole and in trouble. Bradshaw gets some time. He unloads, and again it's almost intercepted and then almost caught by a Steeler. Jim Smith had the ball off of a Buffalo defender. Lamar Parrish had the ball. He started to run, lost it, and Jim Smith almost had it. It goes as an incomplete pass.
It's a very tough play to complete. Bradshaw's trying to throw it in to an area where there are 2 defenders, 1 receiver. That means he hasn't picked out the right guy somewhere, or else he didn't have one employed in the pattern. But this looks like a sure turnover, and it almost turns into a first down by Smith. Now, we've got, look at Mosley. Look how far back he is. The ball's on the 5-yard line. Mosley's in the other territory. That's 50 yards from the line of scrimmage.
And Goodson's kicking into a heavy wind. He got the ball off the end of his foot. A one-hopper that Mosley takes. The 44 dives ahead to the 41-yard line. So the Bills go on offense with good field position.
Could have been better.
39-yard punt, 7-yard return. So the Bills will have it first and 10 at the Steeler 41-yard line when we come back.
Nikon introduces a new
The winningest percentage coach in playoff football history in the NFL. Right now, his Steelers unable to move the ball, and they have to play defense again as Joe Cribbs runs hard with the ball for Buffalo, gets ahead on a first down carry for 2 yards. While we have a moment, we switch to NFL 82 in New York.
Thank you, Don. Len Berman, NFL.
Get back in it. The Battle of Ohio. Buffalo has been in Pittsburgh territory for 32 offensive plays, we're now informed, and Pittsburgh still John not across midfield with the football. 2nd and 9 coming up for the Bills at the 39-yard line of the Steelers. Ferguson airs it out. They're going to Butler again.
He's having trouble changing his route because there's another situation where he's one-on-one with Blunt all over the field. They're trying to get to Ferguson. You can see the frustration that Ferguson feels. Very seldom. He can go whole weeks without ever getting this situation. 47 is Mel Blunt on number 80, Jerry Butler. Now it's a blitz situation from ground level. As Ferguson looks down the field, he sees the whole inside of the playing field is open. Butler doesn't see it, stays on his route, and they just miscommunicate again.
And so the ball now is at the 39-yard line with 3rd down coming up, 3rd down and 9.
Do the same thing. You're bound to get one of those babies.
This time Blunt has Perry Tuttle. Ferguson, who was hot early in the game, has missed his last 7 throws. A lot of them have been deep. He looks. Again, he goes long, and there's nobody within 20 yards of that. Good coverage by Anthony Washington, also on Lou Picone. Ferguson was leveled by Big Tom Beasley. So the Bills will have to punt the ball for a 2nd time in the game. 11:33 to play in the 3rd quarter. Joe Ferguson and the Buffalo Bills offense holding to a 10-0 lead. Willie Sitnor, who's a tight end, going back as a punt returner. The wind kicking up as the day darkens now. An overcast day. Heavy snow earlier. The field was actually whisked off by a mobile broom on the front of a Jeep. Here's Willie Sitnor turning upfield, and Willie gets to the 20-yard line, and that's almost been good field position for the Steelers the way things have been going. But now we see a penalty marker come in, John, so they could be set back from there. Depending on the call, Lucius Sanford was down to cover the punt for Buffalo. Steelers at Cleveland next Sunday.
Formation on the offense.
Got the Bills on it.
I don't think they'll take that one.
It is a doubleheader day on NBC as we listen to Pat Haggerty say.
Illegal formation on the kicking team on the offense. Decline. 1st down.
Declined it was, so it's at the 19-yard line, and the Steelers go on offense there, 1st and 10. A doubleheader day. Many of you will be seeing the L.A. Raiders and Marcus Allen going against the Chiefs at Kansas City. We'll come back to Orchard Park after this. Whole day.
Hertz, the #1 rent-a-car company, announces the #1 travel award program, the Hertz Frequent Renter Program. Now, every time you rent from Hertz, you can earn credits toward travel awards.
Like free airline tickets for our vacation. Stays at leading hotels.
And a free rental of a luxury car from Hertz for 2 weeks.
For details, stop by any Hertz location and find out how the more you rent,
The more you get.
Hertz is #1 for everyone.
You know, Delta Airlines flies to a lot of places you'd like to see.
That'll sell a lot of cameras.
Maybe. If you take a round trip anywhere Delta flies in the United States or Puerto Rico, you can take a friend with you at no charge.
Oh, good. We both go.
When you buy any one of these Polaroid 600 cameras, the second round trip coach fare is yours free. It's Polaroid Sun Ticket. You can use it anytime in 83.
I hate traveling alone. Don't you?
It depends on who I'm not with at the time.
A Saturday edition of NFL 82. Michaels and the hard-hitting Jets battle Shula and his Miami Dolphins. Then, the fast-breaking UCLA Bruins take on the Hawkeyes of Iowa on NBC Sports next Saturday.
Pouring on the East Coast today.
Cleveland Browns back in the game against the Cincinnati Bengals at Riverfront Stadium. 3rd down and 3 now for Buffalo as Ferguson is back in the shotgun. They pick up the blitz. Here's a throw. It's a completion, and now it's incomplete. Mosley lost the ball, and it was up for grabs. A quick fastball delivered by Joe Ferguson, who can throw the hard one. Mosley had it and lost it.
Didn't have it
There's
too long.
There's a good day to go ballooning. That's what you want to do. Really get up in the wind.
To get out of Buffalo is what you do.
He's liable to end up in Maine. Might not be anybody in that thing. Greg Kaler will punt the ball now for Buffalo. 3 punts all in the second half. Willie Sidnor is back. This is his third punt of the half coming up. Sidnor standing back at the Steelers' 12-yard line. Willie's going to take it on the run, and somebody is there to greet him right away, and that again was Nixon coming down. Jeff Nixon.
Give Sidnor credit. He jumped up there about 35 yards back of the line of scrimmage. It was a short 25-yard punt, but he caught it before it hit the ground, saved his team about 20 yards in exchange.
We'll come back right after this. For a minute. And the Miami Dolphins are having a fun day up in Foxborough. No score in the first half. But it's as bad up there or worse. Bradshaw on 1st and 10 gets time at long last, delivers a strike, but he goes right to Charles Romes. It's intercepted. Charles Romes comes back upfield and down to the 32-yard line. Tyrone McGriff finally knocked him down. But the Bills intercept Bradshaw a second time and come up with the ball at the 32-yard line of Pittsburgh.
About all that proved, Don, is that you can catch a ball thrown by Terry Bradshaw today. It took Romes to do it, but look, Smerlas is the big reason. He's been beating Webster, who is the best center in this league, at the line of scrimmage. Now, that was one of the rare occasions where Webster had the best of it, allowed Bradshaw the time to throw, but when he did, look, he can't get it down the field to Simpson because there's a man that guards that middle area. Rose makes a great interception.
He did make a great
He keeps
one.
Bradshaw now. He's got 2 to both sides. 2 for 13 for 3 yards with 2 interceptions. That goes down as his all-time worst.
A long day for Bradshaw and a long way to go. With 8:30 to play in the third quarter, pitch back goes to Joe Cribbs. And he breaks it open, and Cribbs goes inside the 20 with that stutter step move. He fumbled the ball. It went out of bounds. He'll see if it was ruled ahead and down. And now we're going to warm up a backup pitcher. Looks like the Steelers are ready to take a look at somebody else because Cliff Stott might have better luck than Terry Bradshaw.
Well, listen, as great as Terry Bradshaw is, and he may be the best player that ever played this game at that position, he may be. There are 5 who can lay claim, all right? But everyone has a day where it's awfully tough out there. It looks like they're playing with 15-man defenses. Everything's cloudy. There's nothing that's clear in your mind, and when that happens, the best thing to do is put in your second-string quarterback. That's what you have him there for. It's not always when a man goes down that he comes in. Stout would like to redeem himself. The last time he played, there was a goose egg on the board.
Look at this. Joe Cribbs inside the 10-yard line. He goes down to the 6 as the Bills split the Pittsburgh defense again. Ron Johnson and Mel Blunt stopped a touchdown. And now another penalty marker is down. It might be another one on Lambert.
I'll tell you, the impressive thing, though, while it's all going the wrong way for Pittsburgh, you know that Joe Cribbs is the first back to make over 100 yards against Pittsburgh all year on a day like today. 22 carries for 110 yards.
Joe Cribbs came back after the preseason layoff, and now there's a problem down there. Some people talking to each other.
Here's the reason you say, okay, get the offensive line all pumped up and let Joe do it. My viewpoint, hey, Ferguson, let Joe do it some more. This is Joe's day. Just hand the ball off. It wouldn't be bad winning 10 to nothing.
The flag was thrown in air. Disregard the flag.
But why was it thrown?
Yeah. What caused the error?
Seemed like a good thing to do, or what? We know that.
The flag was thrown in error, so the play goes, but there's no call. It would have been against Pittsburgh because an official was talking to Mr. Lambert when the play was over.
I thought he said the flag was thrown in the air. I'm sorry, he said it was thrown in error.
In error.
Okay.
The ball's down to the 6-yard line.
Offense, delay of game. The ball was alive, the clock was going, so we have a delay of game, offense.
That is a poor call. They called a delay of game on the offense. The Bills stopped playing when the official threw the flag, and then they said the flag didn't count.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That's one. No, it's a delay of game.
Oh, I'll tell you what it was for.
Spiking the ball.
The guy spiked the ball, and when he did, it took the official a little bit longer to get the ball in play. Okay.
So now the ball comes out to the 11-yard line. It's going to be first and goal from there. It's a lot harder to get 11 against this defense than it is to get 6. Let's see what the Bills do as Bramer, the tight end, switches over to the right side. 2 tight ends in the game. Joe Cribbs out in front of, behind those blockers, turns in and gets back to the 6-yard line where it'll be second and goal. He got 5. Got it back.
Early in the game, you saw Pittsburgh hanging in there defensively. They were stopping Buffalo at the line of scrimmage. Their defensive line was getting a standstill. Right now, they're not. And if I were Joe, I'd hand the ball to Cribbs again.
The Steelers need the big play on offense. They haven't come close to having one. They need to hit the strike. And it looks like Cliff Stout's going to come in the game. He's warming up on the far sideline now as Bradshaw has had, as John pointed out, probably his worst day. And he hasn't had many bad ones over the years, except in that first year when he threw the 29 interceptions and people said he couldn't play. Second and goal. Here comes Cribbs. Cribbs right, Cribbs left. Cribbs up the middle, and Cribbs goes down to the goal line. Did he get in? He did not. But he's a foot away.
1 foot away, but I'll tell you what, Joe Cribbs would have made the goal line on most occasions. And here we go. Perfect example. Offensive line winning at the point of attack. Here we have 24 carries for 120 yards. Great day for Cribbs because his offensive line's giving him a little bit of room to run.
Joe Cribbs having a big day in the worst playing conditions. Now the Bills have the ball. Third and goal inside the 1-yard line. Curtis Brown is in the backfield, so is Roosevelt Leaks. Might go right or the left side to Rosie. They set up strong left. Roosevelt Leaks powers ahead, and Roosevelt Leaks is down to the goal line. Is he in? Well, the ball isn't there.
Powers ahead to the line of scrimmage.
That is it. Bills are going to go for it. 4th down coming up. Now here comes the whole field goal unit.
All the action takes place about a foot or 2 off the ground when you get down there. I'm surprised they're going for a field goal. And I'll tell you why. Because they've got them down on the 1-yard line. They've got a 10-point lead. 13 will still keep them within 2 touchdowns. They've got to kick the ball off. Do you follow me? This way, if you keep them down here with 10 points, nothing good has happened for Pittsburgh. I doubt if they'd be able to move the ball 4 yards and 3 downs, and you'll get another shot at it. But I'm not coaching. That's Chuck's job. He gets paid for it, and I hope he's right.
Well, it's an extra point attempt. In effect, the field goal point-blank range is good. So the Bills extend their lead to 13-0 with 6:24 to play in the 3rd quarter. Stay tuned today to NBC Sports for the second half of our NFL doubleheader as rookie Marcus Allen and the Raiders go against the Chiefs at Kansas City. Some of you will see the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Check your local listings for the game in your area. That's all next today on a doubleheader day on NBC. And don't forget, next Saturday, it's a football-basketball doubleheader here on NBC. First at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, the New York Jets, holding to a 7-point lead at the moment over Tampa Bay, take on their rivals, the Miami Dolphins, who right now are in a scoreless tie in the 3rd quarter at New England. Then, 2 of the best in college basketball do battle at the UCLA Pauley Pavilion. 6th-rated Iowa moving fast goes against the number 4 UCLA Bruins right here on NBC Sports.
Let me tell you something about New England. It looks like they're going to slip it to Miami. They've got 4:40 to go in the 4th quarter. They're 3-0 ahead now.
Isn't that something? John Smith,
that's right.
Latest in the Thunderfoots at New England, hits a 33-yarder, and it's 3-0 with 4:40 to go in the 4th quarter indeed. Now Efrain Herrera, who never saw weather like this in his native Mexico, ready to kick it off for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's had 61 offensive plays and Pittsburgh 29. Pittsburgh is still not crossed midfield. The Bills have run much of their offense, most of it, 2/3 of it on the Pittsburgh side. 44 plays. High spinner goes to Abercrombie. And again, Rod Kush is there, number 42, to make the play on special teams. As the game clock is down to 6:17 to play in the 3rd quarter, and Cliff Stout comes in to quarterback the Steelers. This is his 3rd appearance of the year, Cliff Stout.
In his 6 years in the league, he has only played in 11 games. Playoff money hadn't been bad, though.
No, and they think he can play. Well, if you sit around for 5 or 6 years, it's about that time that you start either going downhill or getting an opportunity to play. Now, it's important that when he plays in a game like this, he does well. It's a tough condition, but if he wants to impress some people in the Steeler organization, he could do that by getting them back in the game.
Hawthorne gets the call, runs the ball in 1st and 10, and gets ahead for about 6 yards out to the 33-yard line. Irvin Parker, 62, the outside linebacker on the left side, made the stop. Mark Mosley, the kicker for Washington, with 3 field goals today, has the Skins going towards their 5th win of the season. They're 4-1 going in against the Cardinals.
I think this is the first time that I can remember Terry Bradshaw being replaced because of inefficiency. I've seen him go out because of injury.
But he always comes back.
That's right.
They go to a draw. Franco runs it straight ahead. First down, Pittsburgh. They get out to the 40. Pittsburgh's first down of this game coming from offensive plays. The only other one came on penalties.
And it's the first series of downs that Cliff Stout's in there. You think, the offensive line says, hey, wait, it's not Terry's fault, it's us. Let's get something going here. Help the kid out, see if we can't get in the ball game. Remember, it's only 13-0.
John, you can end up talking to yourself trying to handicap this league and figure it out. Detroit's been on strike since the strike. Today they go against a good Green Bay team at Green Bay, and they're leading in the 3rd quarter are the Lions 30-0. Franco runs again. It doesn't get much. Tries to go wide. He dipped and then went down at the 42-yard line of the Steelers. Isaiah Robertson and Bill Simpson hit him. New England still holding to the 3-0 lead late in the 4th quarter over the Miami Dolphins, playing at Foxborough, Mass. Clinton Burrell of the Cleveland Browns ran back an interception, so the Cincinnati Bengals still holding to the 14-10 lead over Cleveland. Jets, after building up a big lead, 17-3, now lead 17-10. Baltimore's come back to tie up Minnesota. In fact, Baltimore went ahead, then Minnesota came back on a Dan Meyer field goal to make it 10-10. Stout, home run. People out there to cover. And it's incomplete, but it was interesting. There's not been much interesting about the Steeler offense as we go to NFL 82 in New York.
Thank you, Don.
Almost had the same conditions here. I mean, it's improved so well that when the game started, I thought we'd be playing in total white 4 feet of snow. But it's really it's still cold, but you do have footing. The wind isn't too bad.
It is cold. And now Stout stands in. He can go with the ball and does. And Stout is finally knocked down the 46-yard line. It was a 3rd down play though in 9, so he comes up well short of a 1st down. The Steeler defense will be back out once again as Pittsburgh has to punt the ball.
That's an illustration of people say, hey, there's 8 or 10 yards ahead of you. Why don't you run the ball? You can pick up 8 or 10 easy. Well, that was Bill Simpson, who was playing deep center field when Stout started to run the ball. He made him 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, so they do catch up in a hurry.
There's a guy down here who's been waving a Terry Bradshaw dummy hanging in effigy all day.
Yeah. This is not the man who made the catch on this particular play. But that's the man who is standing back to catch the punt. You know
ball. And the Bills come up with it. So even then, it doesn't break the Steelers' way.
Our producer, Kenny Edmondson, showed us this picture because he's been 45 to 50 yards back receiving punts. And as a result, they've all hit the ground before he could catch him. That time it was almost a turnover. And before the day's out, that may give Pittsburgh a chance to get back in the game.
Player down for Buffalo. So while the injured Bill is a 10-2, we remind you that next Sunday it's another NFL doubleheader here on NBC Sports. Battle of good quarterbacks. Terry Bradshaw heads to Cleveland, where they don't like Bradshaw or the Steelers, but the Pittsburgh Steelers seem to win a lot there. Ryan Sipe goes for the Cleveland Browns, and then at 4 o'clock Eastern time, most of you will see Joe Ferguson again leading the Bills into action against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Check your local listings for the time and the game in your area. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern time with NFL 82 right here on the home of the Super Bowl, NBC Sports. Mike Mosley was shaken up. He comes off. Bill Simpson was also shaken up. He comes off.
Sims says, "Look, just another day at the plant. Once I can get up, everything's all right." This is Mike Mosley having to come up. I know someone's talked to him and said, "Hey, catch that ball on the fly. We're losing 20 yards every time you let it bounce." So he tries. He was too far back again. He's going to have to get much closer to the line of scrimmage receiving those punts.
The Bills in a rare position right now, starting out at their end of the field. They seem to have had the ball across midfield throughout the ball game. Right now they have it 1st and 10 after the punt at their 24-yard line. 3:19 to play in the 3rd quarter. Joe Cribbs breaks into open field, and Joe Cribbs gets to the 32-yard line.
That's a late flag thrown back there around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage as Jack Lambert and Donnie Shell combine on the stop for Pittsburgh.
Now, we see Cribbs, and he's getting such great blocking from his offensive line. Will Grant's turned into a comparable center with Mike Webster.
It's going to go against Buffalo, so the Steelers get a break here.
I don't know who they called it on, but take a look at that front three. Borchardt, Will Grant, number 53, Reggie McKenzie, number 67.
84, offense.
84, Buster Barnett, tight end. Sent him in there for a lead the way.
Kelly led him back 10 yards. 1st and 20. Lou Picone comes out wide to the left. Frank Lewis didn't play because of a knee problem. Jerry Butler played extremely well, but he re-injured a muscle pull, re-pulled it. Now Lou Picone and Perry Tuttle, a rookie, are on the flank. And the Steeler defense pins Buffalo down again. Pittsburgh can come out of this with very good field position as 2nd down and 20 comes up. Ron Johnson comes up to make the tackle on Cribbs.
When you're dominating the way Buffalo has been dominating, you like to keep the pressure on. We see Joe Devlin pulls in front of Cribbs. He gets tangled up. Just a whole bunch of Steelers in Cribbs' way. I think it's 2nd down now and about 18 yards to go for a first. Now, this is where Ferguson ought to just let it go. Just let it go. Take your licks. See what Cribbs can make. It's an important game. You don't want to blow it by trying to be a hero at this point.
And as you saw the standings, John, interesting developments with Miami losing and Pittsburgh losing here. Joe Cribbs runs the ball on 2nd and 20, and the Steelers again give up virtually nothing. So they're going to have to wait till January 2nd, late in the afternoon, to find out who's where. No sure things yet. San Diego extended its record to 4-2 with another win yesterday, beating the 49ers coming from behind.
What you do see is you see that anybody that has only 2 wins after 6 games is in deep hurt if you're in the AFC. If you're in the NFC, you have a good chance because, as people have said, you might need 6 and something. You won't need that. 5 and 4 will get you in the AFC. 4 and 5 might make it in the NFC.
They think that a lot of 5 and 4s could get in, but maybe some won't with the tiebreakers.
You bet me.
You think all the 5 and 4s would be there? Joe Ferguson does a smart thing. He throws the ball away. Steeler fans thought he grounded the ball.
In row 6. Take a look at the NFC. You can see that Dallas, they're in. Green Bay's in. Washington's already in. You've got Atlanta 3-2, New Orleans 3-2. You've got a couple other teams. You've even got a 2-3 team in the hunt right now.
Well, look at Detroit. They're 2-3, but they're pounding the Packers 30-0 at the moment.
That's right. And that's what keeps it all nice and even over there in the NFC. Dallas will run away and hide before it's over.
Now, Greg Cato will punt the ball for Buffalo. He has to hit the ball into a wind. A swirling wind. Gets it downfield, and Willie Sidnor is going to let it hop. And it takes a roll and will hop out of bounds at about the 43-yard line of the Bills. So finally, Pittsburgh gets offense on the Buffalo side of the 50. Cliff Stout brings the Steelers out. It's absolutely impossible to assess the wind. You look at that banner up top, the wind indicator atop one of the goalposts, and at the other end, it might be blowing the other way. The flag has been straight out one way, and then you look back up, and it's straight out the other.
Isn't it funny? Since they took the 3 points, they kicked off to Pittsburgh. Now Pittsburgh's got the ball on the other side of the 50. 2 touchdowns away from winning, but we're not even in the 4th quarter yet.
We are not. We have 1:29 to go in the 3rd quarter. And it's 1st and 10 for the Steelers. Stout takes a look into the flat. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
nice spiral, but needed a little taller receiver.
They don't help unless it comes down in the right guy's hands. Stout, as we saw earlier, can air it out and throw the long ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line has to give him time because the Steelers are going to have to put the ball in the air to get in the end zone. Swan comes out wide to the right.
Here's a blitz.
The blitz is coming. Irvin Parker. There's a throw, and nicely received by John Stallworth. But they're rolling out of bounds. Had the ball, but wasn't in bounds with the feet, so it comes back now, and it'll be 3rd down and 10.
Either he didn't give himself quite enough room, or Stout pulled him out to the outside. We couldn't tell exactly which, but that's the way it's been going since step 1.
9 previous tries, John. The Steelers have tried to convert a 3rd down, and they've come up empty every time. 0 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. Now it goes with Swan wide right. Jim Smith wide right. Stallworth wide left. Stout taking a look. Pump faking. Now he's going to take off. Puts his head down, and he is hit hard at the 35-yard line, short of the 1st down.
Big play, though. Stout knows how many yards he has to pick up. Even though he didn't get to the 1st down line, he got 9 or a little 9 plus. They'll go for it on 4th and 1. Let's take a look at Fred Smerlas. He's having quite a little day with Mike Webster. Mike's starting to hold him out a little bit better now in the latter stages of the game, and I'd be very, very surprised if they do anything but go for the 1st down. First chance they've had to do anything right today. Good play by Stout.
Fourth down and just over a yard now for Pittsburgh at the 34-yard line of Buffalo. Sid Thornton and Russell Davis are the runners. Russell Davis looks like he's got it for the Steelers. 1st down Pittsburgh as they advance the ball close to the Buffalo 32-yard line. Here comes Franco and the wide receivers back in. Stallworth and Swan.
Remember, Pittsburgh's got a lot of plays that they've worked on during practice to execute once they got inside the 30 to 25-yard line of Buffalo. Well, they haven't used any of them because they haven't been there.
Right. They have not been there. This is the Steelers' longest advance of this game, and the 3rd quarter is about to end, and it does. The gun sounds. That is the end of the 3rd quarter with a score. The Buffalo Bills 13, the Pittsburgh Steelers nothing. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Back at Buffalo, they love it because the Bills are playing their first good game in a long time, certainly their first one since the strike. And the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't out of it yet, though, as the Steelers go on offense 1st and 10. And Franco runs hard, bluffs across, and he gets a head down inside the 25-yard line. And now, with Stout at quarterback, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been moving the ball, but they've yet to put points up.
They've got their head up, though. That's a step in the right direction. You can see, you can just get the feeling that when they step in the huddle, they're running out there with a little more spring. Their offensive line's jumping up to the line of scrimmage a little swifter. They're not letting Buffalo get set defensively. Hey, let's go. Let's get the game on.
2nd and 2, as you see the flurries falling. Hawthorne takes some hard pops, but he gets ahead and gets a Steeler 1st down to the 20. Then Williams, who sacked Bradshaw unceremoniously, one of 4 first-half sacks of Bradshaw, but the man who made the knockdown. Now the play comes in as Jim Smith heads into the lineup on a 1st down play for Pittsburgh.
Somebody turned the snow on again.
Yeah.
And they've also said, okay, they're getting back in the game, are they?
Your visit might not end with today.
Yeah, we'll put a little snow on them, blow the wind about 40 miles an hour. Let's see how they're doing this.
And guys that come here for games, John, have been here till Wednesday.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Here it is now, 1st down and 10. Back to Franco Harris. Good run by Harris, and Franco's inside the 10-yard line. They'll rule him out of bounds right at the 10. A lot of time left. 13:38 to play in the game.
They've got 2 real big ball carriers. This is Greg Hawthorne, #1 choice out of Baylor a few years ago. Hadn't got a lot of time to play, but he makes a good block at the point of attack. Defensive end, keeps him out of the play, allows Franco to break loose into the secondary. He's done that 4 or 5 times in this drive. Don't give Franco the ball with a way to go or you're in trouble.
So far in this game, John Stallworth has not caught a pass, nor has Lynn Swan, nor has Benny Cunningham, the other starting receiver. Stallworth's streak of receptions in 68 straight games on the line. Stout throws. intercepted. Mario Clark, number 29, cutting in front of Lynn Swan in the end zone, knocking the ball down, and so it's going to be third down coming up.
And that's why Lynn Swan has not had any receptions today. Mario Clark has covered him just like a shadow. On the other side, Charles Romes has done the same thing to Stallworth. These two cornerbacks are outstanding players, have been for several years. That's why they feel like they match up pretty good against Pittsburgh. And they play a lot of man-to-man, and these two guys can get it done.
Steelers trying to cross Buffalo up as that was a second down and inches play after the good run by Franco Harris. And now the Steelers and Cliff Stout want to talk it over. Pittsburgh calls timeout. 13:33 left to play. 13-0 Buffalo, but the Steelers challenging and not wanting to let the opportunity get away. Stout heads to the sidelines to consult with Chuck Noll. Marv made the knockdown, but Cliff Stout in third and inches called number 18 in the huddle and took it himself.
And he doesn't run like a quarterback. He runs like a big old long halfback. He's got good long strides. He has the coordination of a running back. I knew he could throw a little bit. I didn't know about his running ability. Not too many people have seen him.
Mark Malone, the other Steeler quarterback, trouble with an injury. It's interesting, Bradshaw at 6'3", 215 is the smallest Steeler quarterback. Stout throws and a short touchdown is dropped. And by a guy who really drops anything, John Stallworth.
I mean, Stout just stood there and completely let the play develop until Stallworth came open about 4 seconds after the ball snapped. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. He still got it. Almost a 5-second play. Stallworth runs on a delay to the outside and drops a sure touchdown. That's the tough part's getting time to throw it.
They just announced the final score from New England. Patriots 3, Miami Dolphins nothing. That got a big rousing cheer here.
Not from any of the guys that took the overs.
One field goal is the difference. Franco runs and he's down to the 4-yard line on 2nd and goal from the 7. Franco Harris, the greatest playoff runner in pro football history and the 3rd leading all-time rusher. Still doing it, having a big year again.
All right, normally this is a certain throwing down, okay? But because on 4th down, I'm sure they won't try and kick a field goal. They would try and make a touchdown. It's an either-or job. Miami loss kind of sets up a must-win for them when they play the Jets next week down in Miami.
There's going to be a few 4 and 2s among some people who thought they'd be 5 and 1s. There's a rush. The tip ball is intercepted by Ben Williams. Ben Williams, the defensive end, spins off tacklers and gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Sekou LaSalle.
So often in a city, Buffalo's had their fortunes turned into mud. And, you know, they're a good team that has always come up just a little bit short. This is when the table is reversed. Ben Williams comes up with a big play just when it looks like they're going to let Pittsburgh to within a touchdown on a day when they've totally dominated play. Their defense comes up with a big play. Now, Joe, just hand the ball off to Cribbs and let this thing get on.
Bill Simpson, a big part of that interception. He tipped the throw by Stout, and Ben Williams picked it off. Now they do go to the run. Roosevelt Leaks runs the ball. The quarterbacks for the Pittsburgh, statistics for the Pittsburgh quarterbacks, most remarkable. Together, Bradshaw and Stout have thrown the ball 19 times. They've completed 2 for a total of 3 yards passing.
Stout I think they've thrown 3 to the other group.
Yeah, they have. The Bills have received well. And Ferguson has been intercepted twice, both by Dwayne Woodruff of the Steelers. Both times stopping scoring threats down close. But the Bills hold to a 13-0 lead, as you see. It's 2nd and 5 coming up for Buffalo. So they go right back to the run. They do. Roosevelt Leaks eases ahead for a couple of yards out to the 33. 3rd and 2. John Goodman knocked him down. Bills at Tampa Bay next Sunday. Many of you will see that as part of an NBC doubleheader, a second game. The Steelers head to Cleveland. Right now, the Browns are right back in the game at Cincinnati after trailing 14-0. Cleveland down 14-10 in the 4th quarter. Game clock winding down. 10:48 to play. Steeler defense digs in, trying to get the ball back. Now the Jets are ripping up Tampa Bay. The Jets have opened up a 29-10 lead. Joe Cribbs with a lot of people in front. Look at that blocking. Joe Cribbs gets ahead for a first down and skips down the sideline. A first down for Buffalo. Joe Cribbs running for 12.
I get the feeling that John Borchardt, Reggie McKenzie, that these two guys are standing in the huddle and they're saying, just hand the ball to Cribbs, please. We'll make sure he picks up the first down. They've done it time and time again. In the second half, they are really dominating the line of scrimmage.
132 yards now, John, for Joe Cribbs.
They ought to give a good segment of that to each one of those offensive linemen, because those guys are doing some playing.
They really have. Joe Devlin, 7th-year tackle out of Iowa on one side. Ken Jones, a 7th-year tackle from Arkansas State on the other. Reggie McKenzie, the main man in the O.J. Simpson years at left guard. John Borchardt, 4th year from Montana, is the right guard. Will Grant, the center. The Bills looking to run that clock with a 13-0 lead and 10:22 showing. Go to the run again on first down and advance the ball to the 46-yard line. But a hold is signaled by Pat Haggerty, the referee. Jack Ham and Lauren Traves with the tackle for the Steelers. Cliff Stout on the bench. 0 for 6 since relieving Kerry Bradshaw. The starter didn't throw strikes. They went to the bullpen. He didn't either.
But he did have him moving. That was the only mistake
he ran
really
it.
made. He had him moving. He had them running the ball well, and everybody kind of picked it up a little. And the one turnover, I think, kind of busted their bubble.
Now the Bills in a hole with 1st and 20 coming up. Look at these offensive totals, John.
Yep. The points are the only important ones, but they've 3-to-1 them on offensive yardage.
Funny how the points follow the offensive totals, though. 304 yards for Buffalo, 81 for Pittsburgh. 3 passing.
Easy 5.
Joe Cribbs goes down at the 33-yard line and to make it 2nd and 20, accepting the flag. We have to see what they are.
It'll be 1st and 15 because a good quarterback knows to change his cadence on occasion. He caught him.
So
kind of easy. We should be able to see somebody moving just a little bit quick.
John
we do.
Goodman, the big end from Oklahoma.
John Goodman gets there quick.
Defense.
Just got to wait till they snap it.
So the ball is now positioned at the 39-yard line. The 39-yard line of the Buffalo Bills. They come out 1st and 10. Gary Tuttle goes wide to the left. The wide receiver from Clemson. Wide to the right is Lou Picone. 1st and 15. The Bills take it to the run and power the ball ahead. Not for much. Out to the 43. The Bills, against a team that had given up virtually no yards to the run, the Green Bay Packers, ran for 142 yards last week, but couldn't get in the end zone until it was too late. Too many turnovers. 5.
Here's a man we have seen very little of today, Donnie Shell. He knows they're going to try and run the ball. Jump up in the pack, see if you can't help out one of your linebackers or linemen. Donnie's specialty is getting to the quarterback on safety blitzes when the situation dictates. He's an excellent center fielder. Yet they haven't called his number often today.
Remarkable player. One of the few who's come into the league as a free agent, ended up a first-team All-Pro. Twice he's been one. Donnie Shell out of South Carolina State. Cribbs puts both hands on the ball on 2nd down and 10 and gets ahead for a little over a yard, maybe 2, out to the 45-yard line. The heated bench is getting a big play on the Pittsburgh side of the field as you see the Jets now in command of Tampa Bay. The Jets looking to extend their record to 5-1. Minnesota, another Dan Meyer field goal, has fought hard to come back and take a lead over Baltimore. Colts led in the game 10-7. Green Bay, a cropper today at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, that famous football address, and the New England Patriots in the snow and the cold of Foxborough, Mass, doing the Miami Dolphins. Washington leading the Cardinals 12-7. Skins scoring on 4 Mark Mosley field goals. 3rd and 9 Buffalo. Swing pass. Kramer, the tight end, has it, but the Steelers are there to stop him. He gets out of bounds. That's what he wanted to do as the clock stops with 8:27
The little
to go.
things. Buffalo does the little things to keep them from being one of the teams that's looked upon as being great. They run out of bounds with 8.5 minutes to go with a 13-point lead. Now, Mark ought to know, and he ought to be told if he doesn't, you don't do that. We play the clock. When the clock becomes an issue, use it. But you should know that. And I'm sure he'll be reminded by Kay Stevenson. But that's the sort of thing that they do when it looks like they're on the verge of being great.
The whole Buffalo team very much up for this game. The coaches next to us, the Bills, usually very outwardly complacent, all on their feet throughout the game. The people calling it in the play box: Jack Donaldson, Miller McCammon, Ralph Hawkins. Willie Sidnor gets the punt, a 36-yarder, and the Steelers go back on offense with a lot of ground to make up if they're to get in the end zone. And the Steelers have to be thinking about they're on the verge of being shut out for the second time in the last 3 weeks. Nixon, the good extra defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, just came off. Apparently hurt his left knee. Here we are, John Broads up here in the press box checking it all out.
And watching Jeff go down on the play, he really just got pushed a little bit, and it wasn't a hit or anything. I don't know what happened. But neither does Pittsburgh.
Neither does Pittsburgh know it hit him from the defensive side as Buffalo again comes shooting. Sherman White and Chris Keating. Keating had to move in for Jim Haslett, the big linebacker out of Indiana State in Pennsylvania. Jeff Nixon was one of the great defensive backs in the league 2 years ago when he intercepted 5 passes in the first 4 games. Went down with a knee injury.
Well, as it says, it's only his 4th year, and he's been a couple years inactive. He didn't get to play much when he came in. Then in about 5 games, he intercepted about 9 or 10 balls, and it didn't take people long to notice.
Bills picked up Lamar Parrish from the Redskins as the extra man, and now the 49 men on the roster. It looks like people are going to need them all before it's over. Stout had Denny Cunningham open, but the big rush came on Cliff Stout, and Ben Williams putting the heat on Stout. And right now we remind you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express consent of the Buffalo Bills and the National Football League is prohibited.
Hey, that's another one. Cunningham looked, he threw the ball behind him. It's been a tough day condition-wise, but Cunningham usually just takes those in stride.
Stout lets it go long. He's got Lynn Swan making a sliding reception at the 37-yard line of the Steelers. Now there's a smoke bomb that's going off in the stands.
I wonder if it's a warm one.
It's got some people scattering. 19-yard gain to Swan, his first catch of the day.
All right, Stout jumps underneath, gets good protection up front from Mike Webster. The 2 guards are starting to block. They're starting to get good pass protection up front. It allows their quarterback to step up. He's going to have to get a lot more opportunity to do that.
Again, a genius in action in the stands, throwing that thing. Stout on first down, stands in, but not for long. And now he throws a strike, and again it's to Lynn Swan, who's open over the middle. And the Steelers have the ball out to the Pittsburgh 46-yard line.
And they have not thrown in the towel.
No, sir.
6:30 to go in the game. They've got their 2 touchdowns back. If anybody saw that little debacle on the West Coast yesterday. Here's Lynn Swan coming back for a pattern. That little Hummer, they had 78 points scored. I don't know what we've got over there in the end zone, but it can't be. It's got a lot of people scattering. Holy moly.
Unbelievable. The camera right end zone is a story.
All right.
Stout stands in to throw, and down he goes as he's sacked. Apparently it's gone out now. There's a smoke bomb that had everybody. People started to jump over the wall, and they're holding handkerchiefs in front of their noses trying to breathe through it all. Steve Freeman is on the play for Buffalo.
Oh, my, and Buffalo has another man down.
I think I heard a dog. Steve Freeman is down. And so, while there's a break in the action, with 5:59 left to play, Steve Freeman's attended to, and we take this timeout for a message. Lynn Swan goes out wide right. 3rd down and 9 for Pittsburgh. Steelers still not off the schneid on the scoreboard, trailing 13-0. Stout Guns the ball long, and it's overthrown. Denny Cunningham turning out on it. Rod Cush was covering. Steve Freeman, who was injured before we broke away, was up and all right. He walked off the field.
This is where Pittsburgh's going to punt the ball. I think on 4th down I would have a go at it right here. 5 minutes and 36 seconds to go. They need 2 touchdowns. It would be 4th down and 9 on their own 39. They're going to lose if they punt it anyway. But there again, we all do have our own thoughts, don't we?
That's why they play the game, and right now the Steelers have their barefoot punter out, John Goodson. Kicks one downfield. Coming up on the ball is Robert Holt. Eludes one tackler for the moment, then the Steelers get him. And so the Bills go back on offense with 5:23 left to play, and the Bills, who led 10-0 at halftime, now have a 13-0 lead. 3 points has been the sum total of scoring in the second half for both teams. NBC doubleheader day coming up next. The Raiders and the Chiefs at Kansas City, or the Broncos and the Rams at Anaheim. Check your local listings for the game in your area. That's next on NBC Sports.
Noticing Raiders in Kansas City sitting there, and Oakland's just been asked to come back to Oakland by some judge up in the East Bay. I get the feeling that they don't know where to go.
Well, they practice in Oakland still.
I know.
They fly down to Anaheim for an away game that they call a home game.
Sure is messed up.
Nobody's been showing up. The great line we've heard was before the San Diego Chargers played the Oakland Raiders, or the LA Raiders now at Anaheim. Gene Klein, the San Diego owner, was down on the sidelines talking to Dan Fouts, the San Diego quarterback, and there was about 3,000 people in the stands. There was a late arriving crowd, and when it did arrive, it was about 40,000 empty seats. Fouts said to Gene Klein, he said, I wouldn't want 55% of this gross. Second down and 6 for Buffalo. Clock running, 4:45 to play. Ferguson wisely throws it close to row A. People were covered, and Joe Ferguson not wanting to allow the Steeler secondary a chance on the ball. They had the defense well deployed and covering well, and now at 4:36 to go in the game, it's going to be 3rd down and 6 for Buffalo.
I've seen a lot of things today that surprised me a bit, Don. You got 4.5 minutes to play. They're winning the ball game. They've got Pittsburgh down. Now the only thing that could change the outcome of this game if somehow Pittsburgh got its head up, and that could only take place with a turnover or something silly. I think that to throw the ball right now when you don't need to is something that Ferguson has been the effect of over the years, and I don't see where it's necessary.
He's in the shotgun on 3rd and 6, and he's going to put it up. Here comes the blitz. Robin Cole throws, and there's a strike to Perry Tuttle, and he's out to the 45-yard line for a big gainer and a 1st down. 16-yard gain and a 1st down for the Bills.
Okie dokie.
They keep the clock running.
Well executed play. Whether it's well executed or not, I think now that they've got a 1st down, and I think so before they got it, they better get it on the ground.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, buoyant and optimistic after the big win over Kansas City a week ago at Three Rivers. Now, a team with some questions. On the verge of being shut out for the 2nd time in the last 3 weeks. You'll recall they lost 16-0 at Seattle when Bradshaw went down with a shoulder injury. Bradshaw came back last week, threw for 3 scores. Today, Bradshaw did nothing, nor did the overall Steeler offense. And the Bills right now are leading 13-0 with 3:40 to go. And it virtually decided because the Bills have the ball. 2nd down coming up with the clock running down to 3:30. John Goodman was on the tackle of Roosevelt Leaks. See that? The Steelers have not been shut out twice in the same season since 1951. Cliff Stout will be coming back in. But like Bradshaw, who he succeeded today, Bradshaw is ineffective. Nothing going with the offensive passing game for Pittsburgh. Perry Tuttle shown some stuff for Buffalo. Their #1 draft choice, called down because of a couple of injuries. Got some big balls. Now 2nd down and 7 Buffalo. Leaks, runs, crashes, and gets across the 45-yard line at Pittsburgh and down to the 43. He has a 1st down for Buffalo. So all of a sudden, the Bills, who a lot of people were questioning and wondering if they were indeed a playoff team this year, right now look awful tough as they head into a tough final 3 games. One at Tampa Bay, one at Miami, then one at New England, the team that beat the Dolphins today.
You know, I think we can go back and as it's getting down to almost the 2-minute mark with Buffalo in the lead in a 13-by-13 with the ball, you can take a look. We discussed earlier, you know, it'd be good to see Ferguson win a ball game with Buffalo and not really play great. I think that's happened today. I don't think he's been the reason they won. I think their offensive and defensive lines have been the reason, and the running of Joe Cribbs has controlled the line of scrimmage. And I think that'll be real good for Buffalo coming down toward the playoffs. And I think with 4 wins, you can safely assume that they'll be in it.
Terry Bradshaw with a warm seat and a bad day. And now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes. With 2 minutes to play, holding to a 13-0 lead over the favored Steelers coming in. Right now, Buffalo has 2nd down and 9 coming up from the Pittsburgh 43. Leaks fumbles the ball. Free ball. It looks like Pittsburgh might have it. They'll wait for them to unpile. Gary Dunn down the bound. Bills say they have it, and the Steelers say they have. So we're going to have an official decision.
I think there is one. I think the Steelers have it.
1:54 to go.
Don't want to lick your paws too early in this game. Little problem on a handoff. Looked like gold pants got underneath the pile.
Let's wait and we'll get the signal from referee Pat Haggerty. It's a penalty mark. There was a marker down amidst all that free footballs too, and a walk-off is against the Steelers. It's been kind of a day.
Holding, first down.
Nullifies the old turnover.
Nullifies the fumble and the turnover, and a defensive hold, and automatic first down for the Bills, and the ball is moved ahead to the 38-yard line of Pittsburgh. The coordinating producer of NFL football on NBC is Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Kenneth Edmondson, directed by Richard Klein, technical director Larry Stucker, associate director Mike Eilbaum. Our thanks to NBC statistician Steve Dans for his usual excellent work, and also for support in the booth from Larry Pollock, Gary Heller, Larry Gluck, and Ed Dorado. A terrible towel is being burned.
It doesn't look like a towel.
A very hot hat.
Looks like the bottom of a bathing suit or something like that.
Whatever it is, it's highly flammable. They had the smoke bomb over there earlier, and that cleared out some people, sent some folks to home or wherever early. National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to the station in the team's home area. So viewers in the Denver area will be leaving this game in a few minutes for a telecast involving the Broncos. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game to keep you up to date. Right now, with 1:54 to play, the Pittsburgh Steelers put their defense down and ready as the Bills have the ball, 2nd down and 4. Down to the 35-yard line. The Bills content to run the ball. Pittsburgh Steelers with their complement of 2 timeouts remaining. Stout used one, you remember, when they were down close before the interception. Gary Dunn and Lauren Tays were on the tackle for Pittsburgh. The Steelers will be favored in all probability in all 3 of their remaining games, but so too are they favored here today coming into Buffalo over a Bills team that had not put on a good show since the strike ended. Losing to Miami, beating hapless Baltimore, and then losing at Milwaukee to Green Bay last Sunday. The Steelers head to Cleveland next week, and then they go home to play New England and Cleveland. Hopefully for the Steelers, they'll be out of the playoffs, and the Bills much better playoff position now as they go to 4-2 with a win here today. And Joe Cribbs, who's been much of the offense all day, called on to carry again. He advances the ball inside the 35-yard line.
And we're inside the 1-minute mark. We have not seen Pittsburgh take their timeout, so they must assume the case is closed.
The case is closed, and the Pittsburgh Steelers head back now, having been shut out twice in the last 3 weeks. 2 shutouts in a Steelers season for the first time in 31 years. Final score, Cincinnati moves away on some breach field goals, 3 of them late in the game. Beats Cleveland 23-10.
And Washington beats St. Louis 12-7, Donnie.
Redskins extend their record to 5-1. The Buffalo Bills, as the wind blows and the snow starts up again, saluting a victory well earned. A great defensive effort, an overall team effort when you beat a team that, as the clock ticks down to 24 seconds to go, and the numbers keep changing on the updated roster and the scoreboard standing. The lineup shows now Pittsburgh and Miami both going to 4-2. Losing in cold weather games, the Dolphins beaten 3-0 in New England.
That's 7 teams with 4 wins. That's what is impressive.
It is over. They're standing and saluting the Buffalo Bills, who finally played their first important game since the strike and won the big game with the big effort. Final score, Buffalo 13, Pittsburgh 0. We'll be back at Rich Stadium right after this. Now let's go to NFL 82 in New York and Len Berman. Len?
This is Len Berman in New York. There's our star of the day in the National Football League. His name is Mark Henderson on a tractor in Foxborough. All he did was come out onto the field during a timeout, clean a little space for the Patriots kicker, John Smith. Smith used the clean space on the snowy field, kicked the winning field goal to beat the 4-1 Dolphins. Henderson's the hero. The things protested, but nothing could be done. I guess the man cleared the field. All right, let me give you all the scores right now as we have them. Buffalo over Pittsburgh. That's the game you're watching. As you know, Buffalo just shut down Terry Bradshaw Cole. Washington, 4 Mosley field goals. Mosley has now kicked 18 straight in his career, or well, at least this year, at least, and into last year. And, of course, that is 2 short of Garo Yepremian's 20 record. Cincinnati over Cleveland. That's a final now. Cincinnati is 5-1. That virtually assures them a spot in the playoffs. The Jets, just about in the playoffs as well. They're up on Tampa Bay, 32-17 fourth quarter. Minnesota trying to hang on to beat Baltimore. They lead it 13-10. Baltimore's hanging tough. Detroit looks good against Green Bay. Green Bay's first game in Green Bay this year. They could drop to 4-2. And the Patriots now. Midview, see doubleheader today. The Raiders at Kansas City, Denver at the Rams. I'm Len Berman. Thanks for watching. Those games coming up.